Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK specific independent home gym tips and advice. And today I want to talk to you about owning a 20 kilogram dumbbell set. Do you own one? Are you thinking about getting one? The reason why I want to talk about this is because for me, this was kind of my gateway drug into owning a home gym. So what do you get in the set? Let's just go through that. Um, Now, there are certain different kinds of these sets, and you can get the lowest price one would probably be like a plastic one, where the weights are possibly filled with sand or concrete or something like that. But I think that the step up from that and probably the most logical place to go really is with cast iron. These are sort of like chrome plated handles here. This is from a sort of a very generic online Amazon reseller. And then these handles here are from an Argos set, which I can talk about a little bit on another video perhaps. What you'll notice here is that this sort of chrome finish here, it's got a nice a very sort of decent knurled handle there. It's not of great quality. You can sort of see, a bit of tarnishing there. I haven't really taken that much care of it, but I haven't been very rough with it either. The Argos one has like this sort of, it doesn't look very pleasant, to be honest, with this sort of plastic sort of handle type thing here. But I actually quite like that handle. It's quite a nice length. And it's a decent enough feel. I actually use this this dumbbell handle quite a lot, despite having better ones. And the other thing I've noticed about this is it's very slightly longer. The Argos handle is very slightly longer, which does make a difference. In terms of how much weight you can get onto these things. And then you will typically. Now, you see, they advertise themselves as being 20 kilograms. This is quite misleading, I think, because you don't actually get 20 kilograms of weight plates. What you will get is the largest one is a 2.5 kilogram plate. They will give you 4 of these. They will give you 4 of these, 1.25 kilograms, and 4 of these little fellows. These are the 0.5 kilograms. Now, yeah, so this is the cast iron version, which I think is infinitely preferable to anything plastic, and generally for home gyms, avoid anything plastic if at all possible, with a couple of minor exceptions, which I'll come on to. A few of those I'll come on to later in this video. But anyhow, yeah, cast iron is where you want to go to in terms of practical usage. I really think that if you buy the sort of sand-filled plastic ones, they'll let you down and you'll regret it, and you won't have saved that much money from not buying the cast iron version. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so as I said, you got the 2.5s, the 1.25s, and the 0.5s. If you do the maths on that, it adds up to about 17, well, it adds up to 17 kilograms. So I think they are sort of counting the weight of the handles in there when they say it's a 20 kilogram set. They will also send you these little things. These are like spinlock collars, okay? So they hold the weight plate in place. So you screw those on and spin those on. One bit of advice I would give to you on that, if you are thinking of buying a set like this, is do one of two things. Either get another set of spinlock collars, or buy one of these things. These are sort of like a decent quality a collar that you can put on, and that is a lot stronger than this, which will come loose. It's not that it's weak. It's just it will come loose. So what if you go with the option of buying two of these things, you can just put two on one after the other there like that, so that they don't come loose mid-set. Otherwise, they're going to come loose mid-set. It's going to annoy you a lot. So that is one of the drawbacks, I think, of this kind of spin lock setup. Anyway, so let's go back onto the subject of why I think this can be like a gateway drug. So I think a lot of people will start with this, and certainly I did. I had a pull-up bar, and then I wanted to add some weights. I wanted to do some weight training as well. I had a little bit of experience in commercial gyms, but not very much. And this guy was actually my first purchase, with like a set. It came in a set there, in a sort of a plastic box, like a sort of carry box. I don't know what you do with that plastic box, but anyway, if you wanted to keep it underneath the bed or something like that, if you don't actually want to expand out and have a home gym, you could keep everything in the box that it originally came in. And in fact, that's what I did with it for a while. I put that in a cupboard or something like that, and it was out of the way. I didn't have a home gym space there, and I would take it out when I wanted to do the exercises. So I was wondering how strong and how much muscle could you build with just this, with no other equipment? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I think that you can't build that much unless you do one thing. You add one thing to it, and that is you'll need more weight plates, because if the maximum you can load onto a bar is 17 kilograms, you're going to struggle to build a lot of strength and muscle with that. You can build some, certainly a decent amount, but you'll want to go a little bit further, I'm sure. So it's very easy to upgrade from there. All you need to do is buy, and this is exactly what I did, is buy a few 5 kilogram plates, and usually you can get those in sets of 4. And you can also get some 10 kilogram plates. You can get those probably in sets of 2, whatever, cast iron plates. You'll find them. Now remember, these will be, unless, almost certainly there will be 1-inch holes, the diameter of the hole. So you'll need to bear that in mind when you're buying extra plates. More on that in another video. But anyway, let's assume that you've decided to buy some more plates, which would be a really good investment. And now you can probably take your journey, your lifting journey a little bit further, because I've had a look. I've tried out, see how much I can get on these kind of handles, because this one is very slightly longer. I think I can comfortably get about 35 kilograms onto this bar. I actually go a little bit further for some lifts and go with 40. Now the reason I'm a bit sort of hesitant about that is because I quite like to use these collars, and I find that if you're not, if you've got 40 on there, and your plates are relatively thick, you might be in the sort of situation where you've got this little sort of gap here with your collar. And I think for certain lifts, you don't want to have that kind of situation, you see, where it could come loose maybe there if there's some pressure against it. If it's fully on, the collar, you're not going to get it off. It's not going to be pushed off by the weight plates moving around. But if it's just slightly off, I'm a bit worried about it, and I'm hesitant to recommend putting any more than about 35 on there, depending, of course, on the diameter of your weight plates. If you've got very thin weight plates, you might be able to get more on there. I've seen some of these bars advertised as saying that they've got a weight capacity of around 62 kilograms. I imagine they would probably go even more than that. They're very sturdy bars, but yeah, if those are the weight capacities and you want to be on the safe side, probably best to stick with that. So let's say you can get 30, between 30 and 35 onto your dumbbells on each side, conservatively, yeah. Let's say that you can do that, and maybe for certain lifts, I'll go into that in a moment, for certain lifts, you can get 40 on there. How much muscle and how much strength can you build with that? Well, I'm going to sort of approach this from two angles. First, I'm going to go with the muscle building side of it. So I actually think that just dumbbells, just that kind of setup, is very good for particularly upper body. If you wanted to build strength, build muscle, sorry, for upper body, you can do chest flies, and you can get that up to quite a decent weight there. You can do bicep curls till the cows come home. I would like to, do something like incline curls if at all possible with the dumbbells. I think that would be even better. For that, you would probably need an adjustable bench. Not an expensive purchase, and I think that, if you're going to do, again, I was talking about chest flies, if you're doing chest flies without an adjustable bench or without a flat bench, you'd probably have to do them on the floor. That might restrict your range of motion a little bit. Again, it would be nice to have an adjustable bench. Yeah, you can also do tricep extensions on them and shrugs. For a shrug, you could probably load it up to 40 because if the weight plates come loose, it's probably not going to drop on your foot. Probably safe to do that. And yeah, to a certain extent, also, I think you could probably do dumbbell rows, and you could probably get up to 40 as well for the dumbbell rows again, because if it slips, it's going to land on you. So yeah, I think for muscle building, for the upper body, yeah, good. That will really serve you pretty well. I don't think you need to go any much further than that if you don't want to. It's not optimal. It might not be that much fun, but if you are regular with it, if you're consistent with it, I think that there's no reason why you can't build a lot of muscle, particularly on the upper body, with just a set of dumbbells, as long as you do expand it up beyond the initial 20 kilogram and get a few extra weight plates, but it shouldn't really break the bank to do that. Okay, let's talk about strength now. This is where we start getting to the, to have to ask a lot of questions of the dumbbell set and say, maybe it's not enough, but let's go through it in a bit more detail. So for the lower body, you're not going to be able to do things like a back squat or a deadlift, like a conventional deadlift. But you can do some good strength building exercises with just your dumbbell set. You can do Romanian deadlifts, and you can do goblet squats. You can do split squats, but you are going to also, you're going to hit a certain point where you can't, particularly if your goal is to build strength, and you can't go beyond loading 40 kilograms a side. I think that does limit you a bit. However, the good thing is it would take you to a certain level of strength, and if you're happy to stay on that level, then there's no reason why you shouldn't. You don't have to progress beyond that level, but I think you may get to the point where you're starting to, when you get to that level, and you're a bit bored of being on that plateau, and that it's your equipment holding you back, not your strength holding you back. That might get to you a little bit. So yeah, I think that those are the big problems for the lower body, but you're going to get even bigger problems for the upper body in terms of strength, and that is because if you are somebody who wants to do bench press or some sort of weighted chest exercise, or overhead press, or military press, whatever you want to call it, I think you're going to struggle a lot, and I've struggled a lot with this, and I struggled a lot with this initially before I decided to, expand, spend a little bit more money on home gym, and and actually create a proper home gym rather than just have dumbbells and a pull-up bar. And yeah, so let's talk about the bench, the dumbbell bench. I think the dumbbell bench is a decent exercise. It's fine. I think particularly with a set like this, you are just going to really struggle. You're going to hit a point where it's very, very difficult to get into position, and you're starting to get your arms and whatever into very weird positions when you're trying to pick the weight up off the ground, and then set yourself in position. You're also going to really struggle to once you finish your set, to get rid of the dumbbells, because if you drop them on the floor, you're going to cause problems with your floor. You might damage your dumbbells. You might damage your weight plates. It's a little bit awkward, basically, as you start getting heavier, and you don't want that to be your limiting factor. I think the awkwardness of getting set up shouldn't be something that stops you. This is even more of a problem when you're talking about pushing weight overhead, because getting up into place with 15, maybe 20 kilograms is okay, but once you start going beyond that, you're going to really it's such an effort to get it all set up there. You've done your set there, and now you've got to think about, how am I going to get this onto the ground? You've got to drop it down like that. You've got to, crouch down and get it all onto the floor, and then you've got to pick it back up again when you do your next set. I think this is quite annoying, and I think that you're just so much better served if you've got like a barbell and you're trying to do a bench with a barbell, or a bench with or an overhead press with a barbell. So, in conclusion, how far can you get with just a dumbbell set, a 20 kilogram dumbbell set? I'd say not that far if you are not prepared to buy a few extra weight plates. But if you are prepared to get a few extra weight plates, I think you can get a very reasonable level of strength and muscle, if you just have those. I do want to add a caveat to that, and I want to say that the key, if you're lifting, using quite low weights like that, it is consistency. I think that you have to train regularly. If you do want to keep building muscle and building strength, you will need to train, well, particularly building muscle, you'll need to train very close to failure. And that could mean that you end up doing very high reps, which it's not optimal. But I think you can build a decent level of strength, a decent level of muscle with just a dumbbell set, as long as you're prepared to buy a few extra plates. I think that it really will benefit you to buy a bench as well, a flat or adjustable, but I would go with the adjustable version. Bench, and you can get ones that you just stash away. You can just chuck it out in the garden whenever you want to do some activities. If you live in a house with a garden, or you can just put it in your living room and maybe put like a yoga mat or something like that on the floor, so you don't damage the floor. And all of that stuff would just stash into a corner, and it would be a very viable alternative to a home gym. I think that if you wanted to go a bit further than that, and not really cap your, not have a limit on the amount you can lift, you're going to need to go a little bit deeper, and you're going to need to buy, you're going to need to look at barbell solutions, or cables, or well, anyway, we can go into that in another video, but yeah, I do think that with a dumbbell set, you're off to a very good start, and it's a brilliant way to explore whether you do actually want to go the whole hog and go into the whole home gym world or not. So yeah, it's a gateway drug I'd encourage you to take. So if you're sitting on the fence and not quite sure about home gyms and if you really want one or not, this is a great place to start. It's going to cost you, from my research, 40 to 60 pounds at the time of recording this video. Maybe you can find one cheaper if you shop around. Sales, I'm pretty sure Black Friday sales and other kind of sales, you'll find them even cheaper. In fact, the reason I bought this Argos one, even though I already had one, is because it went on sale and it was very cheap. And I was like, well, I could do with a couple of extra handles. I quite like an extra set of plates, and it was cheaper than buying the plates, was to buy the full set there. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking around, and I'm pretty sure that you'll find a decent price for these things, and it will pay you back. It will pay you back so quickly, unless it takes you on a journey into buying a full home gym, which will probably set you back quite a lot of money, but could also be worth it in the long run. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.